friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We have Tiny Secrets, the quilt we're starting, the Constellation quilt, which is the name of it in the book. So I'm going with that name. I don't think I'll use the name that's on the kit. I will just use the name for that's in the book. And there's a few other things I want to talk about today. Before we do the constellations, I want to show you up. I did that row. I got well, not the whole row, but I did the 3 blocks for the bottom row and did the sashing. I kind of know what the other sashings will be because they're kind of repeats of other things. So there, ta-da! That looks so good, right? Yeah. I actually kept this pattern out from this week and put it on my rolling stand because I have some fabric in there that would be fun to use to make this. All right. I may end up taking this down and putting some of the constellation pieces up for this week. So I might. You can view that while I'm talking, right? All right. So I think I'll do one or two couple of things here beforehand. We were talking about the blue canning jars. So this is one of mine. I have maybe 3. One's bigger that I keep safety pins in for basting. So this is my smaller one. So I thought I'd show that to you. If you have canning jars, hold on, I'm getting some. If you have canning jars like this, if you have blue canning jars and you want to share it in the fireside chat over at Facebook, I'd love to see your collection. I bet somebody has a bunch of these. They're just so pretty, right? They're just so pretty. All right, the other thing is, from the block yesterday, we did get cut-offs, right? And so I sewed all of those while I was working on sashing. I got those sewn, so they're half square triangles, but they're not trimmed yet. So remember I talked about keeping all of these, and there weren't that many. There's 4, so it's not that many. And I have this basket of 2.5 inches, all trimmed to 2.5. And so I am just going to keep filling this up this year. I am sure that I missed some earlier because this is June, and I probably at least started consciously doing this about 2 months ago. So whatever I did the first few months of the year weren't in here, but I'm going with it. We'll see at the end of the year what I have, and I'll put them all up on the wall and see if there's enough to do anything with. I think that would be fun. My idea is kind of to set them just side by side. You know, like I did when we did the rainbow quilt. You know, they're just having them side by side like this. That's kind of very simple, very straightforward. But I'll have a whole bunch of different colors. So that'll be where the play will come in. Is like, do I do a color wash? Do I just make them random all over the place? Do I put them in little groupings? So, okay, so these will have to be trimmed, and that is on the list. Let's do the block first, and then I have a couple other fun, fun things. Basically, stuff that's on sale. You gotta know that. You gotta know all about that, right? Let me get the kit stuff. First, I want to show you the whole quilt again. So this is a picture of what it is in Tiny Secrets, which are all the blues from Tiny Secrets, my fabric line. So in the book, of course, they're different colors. So let's take a look at the unit for this week. Here is the quilt in the book, and we are doing these corner units right here. So this with the 2 side pieces and this kind of little basket. And when you isolate it, it looks a little bit like a basket right here. And so here it is in the blue. Let me see if I pull the camera back just a little bit. Okay, there we go. There. All right, hold on. Okay, that should help. This is one of 4. So you've got them going in all 4 corners so that the basket part is looking out the top, like this part is at the corner of the quilt. So there'll be one this way and then the other 2 ways. And I will take the quilt off the wall and put these 4 up there. So the pattern, of course, I can't show you the directions in the pattern because it is they're too interspersed with all the sizes and everything. But you will be starting on pages 84 and it's the first section. So let me just show you. And you're basically working in units. So this is one unit right here. So that is one of your units that you're making, and you'll have the base fabric and then do the sew and flips with these. And then the one on the other side goes a different direction. So you can see how they're angled, right? They're angled different directions. So follow carefully because you don't want to make them the same way. If you accidentally do make one the same way, just save it and use it for one of the other blocks. You know, if you make kind of, I highly recommend you make one first, and then make the other three. So that you just make the, you know, cut for one, do the construction. I know some of you like to cut it all. Some of you are very experienced quilters, so that's not a problem. But if for some reason this is new to you, or you're new to the Fat Quarter Shop's patterns, you know, just give yourself some grace and check that you've got everything right. Okay, so this is the first block. They're big, super sized, which this is a half-yard book, and all the quilts in here are using sort of a smaller number of fabrics and then big pieces of them. A lot of these in here, not all of them, but a lot of them, like this one. So it is so fun to work with big chunks of fabric. Okay, I am going to take this down and put the 4 pieces up on the wall so we can see how it looks. Look how cool that is. Okay, you're gonna probably hear the out there, they're mowing next door. So, okay, look at that. Isn't that fabulous? And here's one of the pieces. This is for sashing on the grandma's kitchen. I had it up there. I did put the spacing is about right. These arrow sections are more narrow than the 4 corners. It's a 60 by 60. Is that right? Yeah, 60 by 60. So it is super fabulous size. Look at that. So there's your project for this week. Now I understand that some of you, aren't doing like multiple projects maybe, and this will be your main project, and you'll just keep sewing. After you finish the 4 corners, you'll do the inside, and then basically there's a center and you assemble all the stuff. So it is a pretty straightforward quilt, which I think is super fun. Yeah, just a quick, easy sew. All right, today is Hot Air Balloon Day. Yes, I love hot air balloons. We had a chance to see them, kind of a whole field of them lift up one time. We didn't even know what was going on. We came over the ridge on a drive, and there they were. It was so fantastic. So let me show you this project. This block is from one of the Fat Quarter Shop's early Make-A-Wish projects. And that project, I think it was like 2015, that project is free. The pattern is free, so you can download it. It does give you the entire project. So it's free, so you're gonna get the whole PDF, a big PDF with all of the blocks. And here's the whole project. This was such a fun quilt along. I think one day we'll do this one again because I gave this one to be auctioned, so I don't have it anymore, and to show you, but it would be super fun, I think, to have it as one of ours one year. That's always in the back of my mind. Who knows, maybe next year might be the year. If you never did this one, it's really fun. It's a little bit more work each block, but you're just doing the one a month, and they are just so fun. So if you have a quilt with a hot air balloon, today is the day to share it. We want to see your hot air balloon quilts. It is also Color of the Month Day. So Color of the Month. And I apologize in advance if I did this color already because I wasn't keeping very good track. I actually have a list, but then I didn't use it. And so now I am again. All right, it is turquoise or teal, whatever you like to, aqua, anything in that range to show. That would be so fun to see your quilts with those colors as the primary color for the quilt. teal, turquoise, aqua. And I've used those off and on through the years, and it's always been so much fun. I like working with those colors. So it is Color of the Month Day. The Fat Quarter Shop is running their birthday bash sale. So they've been in business 22 years. Oh, so nice. And they have great sales on lots and lots of different things. But what I noticed is this particular door banner. This one, which is so cute, is on a really good sale. So I have a link for you on that one. There's lots and lots of other things. And I thank you for using my links, because your entire order, I get a small commission off of your entire order. So whatever you put in there at any time, whether it's on sale or not for sale, I'll get a small commission. And that really helps me run this YouTube channel for you and run the sew-alongs, and basically supports my business. And it doesn't cost you a dime. You just use my link when you go to buy. But this one is super cute. I've not done it yet. My friend Carrie, who helps with the Facebook group, she has made it, and she's like, Pat, you need to do this one. So I will. It's there because it's green. Remember, I need more green things. So it's green. All right, I think we have a few minutes to do a few more of the Q&A questions that I had earlier from you a couple weeks ago. So Twyla says she's curious about my favorite cutting mat and rulers that I use with my glasses, because I have bifocals and progressives, or whatever you want to call it. She feels she's having more difficulty cutting lines on the mat. And do I have tips? I don't have any tips. I don't have difficulty. I didn't change anything. I'm using Olfa cutters, Olfa mats. I'm using rulers that are either creative grids or something I've had for a long time. I've never had a problem with my glasses. So my suggestion would be to go talk to your eye doctor and your optometrist or whatever, and tell them what you're doing and what's not working. Maybe people can leave a comment here if you know of, had an experience, can help one another. That's kind of the name of the game here. So I don't have any help for you. So I've never had a problem. So Linda says, how do I motivate myself to sew? She's struggling. This kind of a question, Linda, comes up so much. So many of you run it. You're not alone. You're not alone. So many people run into this. Basically, she's struggling to do a wedding quilt, her granddaughter's wedding quilt, her great-grandson's baby quilt, and she says she's in the black zone. So I'm assuming she means depleted. Like you don't have any energy left. Yeah, it's always hard. I mean, are you enjoying making the quilts, or are they designs that you're not enjoying? If they're designs you're not enjoying, how far deep are you into it? Can you get a friend to help? I never have to motivate myself to sew the kind of things I have to do, because I'm a business and I have to do stuff for the videos or for my business all these years. I primarily sew for business, so I'm not sewing. I have not sewn for fun for 30 years. It's not how I sew. I don't think, I'm just going to do this. Everything here is evolved around running the business. So I'm not that great at answering that kind of a thing. So once again, folks, let's help her out. Let's leave some comments on what you've done when you've run into something. It sounds like you're kind of overloaded, maybe your schedule, or you're just not motivated by the particular patterns. That's kind of the running theme I see with all of you. When you've got stuck, it's the patterns doesn't interest you, the fabrics don't interest you, or it's more complex maybe than you had anticipated, so it's taking you longer. Those are kind of all the factors as to why you don't want to sew it. And I know way many years ago I had trouble sewing something because somebody in my family wanted a particular color, and I tried and I just wasn't interested in those colors, so it was hard. Let's see. So Barb just says, thank you for all you do. Designing isn't as easy as it looks. Yeah, it isn't. You learn a lot as you design more and more and more and then you learn tricks and shortcuts, and you learn your own style, and it becomes fun and easy. But sometimes in the beginning it can be a little tough. Elaine asks 2 questions. How did you get started teaching quilting? I'll answer that one first. I got started because a quilt shop asked me to teach. I was hanging out there. I was sort of trying to decide how I wanted to have a quilt business. I didn't know yet what format that would look like. And so she offered for me to start teaching some classes. And that it was at a Ben Franklin was the first class. So it was more than but Ben Franklin had a big quilt section, and they went to Quilt Market, and it was like a quilt shop section. And then the local quilt shop, one of them, then asked me to teach after that. So that's how I got teaching. Why did I decide to do my own patterns and fabric? Well, I wanted it to be a full-time job, and so as a full-time job, you have to do everything. You could maybe just teach as a full-time job if you go on the road. Locally, you're probably not going to make a full-time income to support you and your family just by teaching at local shops. You probably have to go on the road and get your name out there. And so I knew teaching wasn't the only thing I wanted to do, because that wasn't my big passion. My big passion was fabric and design and all that other stuff. But the teaching opens a lot of doors and gets you a lot of different things to happen. So that's my story. So Marilyn says that she lives in Australia. Hey! And she doesn't have a wide variety of choices of pre-cuts, jelly rolls, layer cakes, that kind of thing. I guess I didn't know that, but I'm assuming that Australian stores just aren't purchasing them, either because they don't think that you'll buy them, or they've learned that they don't sell very well. You might want them, but other people don't. So I suggest that you kind of ask in the Australian community, your questions on where to find them, because I wouldn't know. I would have no idea where things are there. But hopefully that helps you. You can find them. You can also just cut your own things from fabric that you have. Or fabric that you buy. You have like you could buy my Tiny Secrets yardage and then cut it up if you wanted to work from strips or squares. So, okay, let's see. We could do a couple more, I think. She also, I forgot, I didn't read the whole thing. She also binge watches my videos on Saturday morning. So she watches whatever I've done on Saturday morning while she has coffee and the house is quiet. Oh, Marilyn, thank you so much. Celia asked how long to design and make the museum butterfly quilt. So that one was a pretty short time frame, although I did need to send it also out to my friend Suzanne, who did the fabulous quilting for me, so it was a collaboration. I knew what I wanted to do as soon as as I was contacted. So that's a big, that helps when I know what I want to do. And how long? I'm not doing it straight through. I'm making videos and running other parts of the business and then having other parts of my life going on at the same time. And so maybe I worked on it a week at most, and then put it right in the mail, sent it to Suzanne, and then she did her magic and sent it right back. So, then I put it back in put binding on it, put a label on it, put it back in a bag and sent it to the museum. So maybe a 3-week time span. Yeah, something like that. All right. So Debbie has a good question that I think is great for everybody to help answer. What are the steps to prepare a quilt to send to your long armor? She spent hours removing the threads from the back. Is that really necessary? I rarely remove threads from the back because I just don't need to. But if you have a white base and you get some red threads or navy threads that are against your white fabric, you will see those on the front then. So those you probably should be trimmed so they don't look, you can't see them. You'll just see this thread laying across your quilt underneath your white fabric. It's most annoying. So other than that, I'm press it, and you know, be sure that I stay stitched all around the outer edge if I don't have like a little outer border, so that all those seams are locked down. But talk to your long armer. That's the best person to ask. Ask them, what do they need you to do? They will tell you. They will tell you. All right, my friend, you are going to do the constellation quilt. If you're making the constellation quilt, leave me a note in the comments. If you've got, once you get just get one block done and share it over and quilt along with Pat Sloan so we can all see it. Yes, mwah, mwah. And today is thank you day. So when you're out and about today, thank somebody. Somebody maybe you normally wouldn't thank. That would be super, super cool. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.